GM everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wake and Jake. We're in June. Things are still hot. It's very nice to see. The market's looking great. Jake, GM, how's everything, man? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, GM. We are entering joyful June,
Beautiful
I'd say.
June.
Coined by DJ Ping quite a while ago. He's a newer account that I've been following. I think I mentioned him in
You
the
did.
past couple. Um, but he's been like on the money. Here, I'll share his account. Oh, I'm in the wrong chat.
He's a good follow. You put him on for me, so it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been like incredibly on target with his calls. So that's why he's getting a lot of notoriety in this joyful June that he's coined himself. Has been and it's not to be I would say he also like has said that like the beginning of June it could be like a fake out that he thinks and like people are gonna think that he's the next Owen, which is another popular trader who like was super bullish and then the market tanked. And he even like called that people were going to call him that because he thinks like we were going to get a dip early June, and that happened as well. And now it's like the true joyful June is starting up now. He actually just tweeted it this morning. Um, so it's great to see. Hopefully, obviously, it comes true. It's not just him as well, who I follow. That feels this way. It's also quite a few, I would say, of the bigger accounts that I reference a lot, who I think are really good macro traders who have consistently had quite a high hit rate with their calls on where the market is going. Notably, for one from this morning was Web3 Quant, who I've mentioned a lot. Um, he basically said he literally tweeted this morning, new all-time high incoming. So that's obviously very bullish, and that's referring to Bitcoin. Um, he's quote tweeting his tweets from a couple days ago, where he said closing and holding 107K should do it. So closing the week, which we did, of 107K and holding that, which we are so far. And then he thinks, we're in for quite a big rally here. Same goes for Bonk guy, who's been pretty on target with his calls, especially recently. Obviously, getting a lot of notoriety. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Bonk guy from his big plays. He's made a lot of splash um, in the meme coin world, especially. But he had a really good tweet this morning. I'll share it right here, where he basically kind of goes over his reasoning. Well, first off, he says, we're gonna get an aggressive face melting rally for crypto from here. So that's awesome to hear, and hopefully comes true. But he gives his reasonings on why that would be, including macro FUD. From the Trump and Elon fight where we dipped quite a bit on that day. That was last Friday, but we couldn't even get below 100K, and we V bounced back very quickly from that dip, which is showing a really strong appetite to buy the dip. And yeah, I mean the ETFs. I think the TradFi stuff is where a big point of this bullishness is coming. Like the Bitcoin ETFs as well as the ETH ETFs are seeing a lot of inflows. ETH ETF especially has had a 15-day straight inflow streak, which he notes. I thought this was really a really good note. Is that it's an institutional and boomer appetite for a cryptocurrency not named Bitcoin for the first time in a long time, which is true. I mean, like really, there's been like no appetite for any type of alts at all when it comes to the TradFi world, besides obviously Bitcoin, until now, where it's really starting to look like that, and that could be bullish for really all of our altcoins if people feel more comfortable about going further down risk curve on all these coins, and that could set us up for a true, at least maybe a mini alt season. He says strong. He says an explosive alt season in the next leg up from here. So a lot of really good that I'm seeing. I mean, OGG Farmer, I mention all the time, is pretty in line with all of this too. He's especially bullish on ETH as well, saying I think it's above. I think he said, sorry, I have this tweet in front of me, but I think he said around like above 2,800 or so, and then we really start ripping up. Is kind of around the number. So yeah, I mean, across the board, things are looking really, really good. And I'm feeling incredibly bullish, especially for the rest of this month. I think it's going to be a really good season for not just Bitcoin, but actually like altcoins and just the general crypto market. Especially if we can make some some new highs in Bitcoin, get back in the headlines again. Hopefully, get some more normies onboarded. And have them go further down the risk curve and start DJing and gambling on a lot of random shit to help our bags.
Yeah, nice rundown. It does feel like the winds on ETH have been shifting for a few weeks now, and people are just still ignoring it. Like some people are loud about it, and some people are just like, "Yeah, whatever, it's ETH." Kind of like what we used to see with Solana back in the day, where everybody used to laugh at it. Feels like everybody's still laughing at ETH now, and a lot of people are going to be in disbelief. But I agree, something's coming, and it's just been like simmering for a while, and it's going to hit a boiling point soon, especially on the ETH side. And I've just been waiting for it. I actually had converted into some ETH. I've been doing it slowly, but and out of Solana and stuff, just to have something more secure. And I feel like that 2 or 3x move is coming very soon. It's disappointed us in the past, but I mean, like you said, the flows are coming and things are looking good. The ecosystem's doing well. We're gonna talk about this a little later, but even NFTs are doing well on their like they're starting to launch and do well on secondary, and it's just a lot of good stuff is coming back onto ETH that I'm excited about. So definitely, I know a lot of people in here were ETH maxis and they loved playing on ETH and stuff. Well, don't worry, your day's coming. I feel like it's if it's not going to be in the summer because summers are usually slower paced than in September, October, November. Like in that quarter there, we should be okay. I think we're gonna have a fun little ETH run. But yeah, it's been
Yeah,
good,
I'm in
man.
line there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think just the rest of the year is gonna be pretty good in general for crypto. Maybe yeah, I think we probably will have like maybe a bit of a slowdown in the summer, but if we really do have a joyful June and things rip high, then there's gonna be plenty of people who stay around and still degen in the trenches. So there'll still would be plenty of opportunities in the summer.
Yeah.
Um, but I agree it might be a little bit of a slowdown, maybe July, August area, and then ramp back up in the fall.
Yeah, we're already
Um,
seeing it a
it's
little
kind
bit
of
here. Yeah. Like even chats and stuff, like around discords and even on Twitter, things are a little more quiet. I mean, a lot of people are sidelined and they did get wrecked in the soul, and that's why a lot of people aren't here. It's crazy because I compare it almost to when we were in the bear market, the amount of like interaction I see on Twitter and stuff. But I feel like it is because people got destroyed on shit coins and on just gambling their money away when things weren't how they expected it to be for a while there, and they were trying to get a leg up. But anyway, other than that, I just think that yeah, it's a good sign. Like we blew past May. I kept throwing warnings because every year, it's not even just every bull run. Every year we have like around any investment type, you have like downtrends in May, and we blew through that. Like, and it's not even just about patterns; it's about the psychology of it, and that's usually the hardest part to get over. Like get through is the psychology part of it, and we blew through that. So I'm less worried now about June, July, August, and the summer months. I think that the worst case we just trend sideways and we get a few hot pockets of activity and yeah, I mean, I do feel like the hard part's done and mentally I'm a lot more secure now than I was, let's say, 3 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, certainly agree. Yeah, anything else on macro, bigger coin stuff, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, any of the crowd before we move on here?
There was this Bitcoin platform that raised, I think it's going to be A purpose-built blockchain. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know anything about this, but I'll mention since we just mentioned Bitcoin. They raised 500 mil
Plasma.
FDV. Yeah, plasma. Yeah, they raised. Did you know about this? Did you throw any money to this? They raised like 500 mil FDV in a matter of like minutes, and one guy even sent $100,000 of gas to go and fill his allocation, so you can like make sure you fill as much as you could in there. $100,000 worth of gas paid. That's something to keep an eye out
No.
for.
I've heard it mentioned a couple times. I haven't looked into it though, so I don't really have any details. But yeah, I mean, I saw the raise this morning. It seems like there's some sharp people who are pretty bullish on it. Obviously, they raised an insane amount of money.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it looks like stable coins, payments on Bitcoin, which I can see that being, if they can do it effectively, uh, a pretty good use case. So, but I don't have any info myself, unless anyone else out there does.
that's already a decent rundown. It's more than I had seen, so it's good. Obviously, like that's big, and it looks like a lot of people are looking into it or looking to be involved in this. As long as it's not a freaking L2 or something else that we don't need, great, because Bitcoin doesn't need any of that. But they do need faster transactions, and that's the way that you would elevate and scale Bitcoin. So if this can do that, I mean, that's big.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to bring up Fartcoin on another note. Once again, I still just want to, I guess, reiterate how like bullishness on this being like the meme coin of the current cycle. I think it just still has so much mind share if you look at that type of thing, and you can just, I mean, if you're on crypto Twitter, you can just tell versus other memes how big Fartcoin is, and I think it has a lot going for it. There's been a lot of nice bold posts for it recently. It got listed on Coinbase, which was huge. Its first like big tier one listing. So that obviously helps out a lot with, especially if we do get that kind of normie wave, more people into crypto, Bitcoin ripping to new highs. Obviously Coinbase is kind of like the number one route that they go through, at least in like the North America side of things. So. Um, that would be very good for Fartcoin, I would say. And yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of really nice bold posts. Bonk guy again
Yep.
is talking about new all-time highs being inevitable in his post this morning. I agree. I think it's just shown so much strength. It like continues to be like the strongest coin whenever there's a bounce. And then whenever there's the dip as well, in terms of like the meme coin sector. So yeah, and it's obviously very easy and funny and normie friendly, and already has like a lot of TradFi mind share on it as well. So yeah, just want to reiterate, I think Fartcoin is a good coin.
That dip to 96 cents or whatever it was just last week was a gift. I mean, people probably were like, "Oh, that's it. It's over." Everybody was just shilling Fartcoin for their own bags, but look how well it bounced. And you're right, all the big names are still talking about it. I'm sure a lot of people are still DCAing in, and I think it's just ready to erupt. And it's one of those coins where I don't even feel like even if it takes weeks, it doesn't matter. It's gonna get there. I feel like it's even better that if it's a slow grind up and just and then all of a sudden it gets that big pop, kind of like what Hyperliquid did. Just grind away, and all of a sudden get that pop. And I think Fartcoin is going to be, like you said, the coin of the meme coin of this cycle, and it already is. That's all you hear about is Fartcoin, Fartcoin, Fartcoin everywhere. So, and it's not forced like Mog or anything else you were seeing for a while there that felt very forced by all the shill accounts. It just feels like a
Mhm.
really easy meme to enjoy, and it's not just enjoyed by us; it's enjoyed by everybody. That's all you hear about is fucking Fartcoin. So bullish Fartcoin for the future. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah,
Other
man.
than that, yeah. How what are you seeing in the shitcoin streets? How's that going? Is there a lot of action? I haven't really paying attention lately.
There's been small pockets. It's nothing crazy at all. I think usually how it goes, the majors have to start running quite a bit. And then there's a bit of a trickle down, like a couple days later, where the volume starts going back into the shitcoins. There was a lot of action on Friday with the Elon and Trump stuff going on. There was quite a bit of volume that ramped up in the market with obviously a lot of memes and stuff coming out from the Elon and Trump fighting, and Elon saying Trump was in the Epstein files and all that stuff. Elon making his own new party, but none of those coins really lasted at all. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
did call that President versus Elon coin that did really well. I think you caught it at 100K and it ran up to like what 8 mil or something. That was a runner. That was like the I think that was the coin of the day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm glad that that one cooked. That was nice. Nice little 7080X. Um, but besides that, I mean, there's still been a lot of the same where, runners kind of die off pretty quickly, and you have to rotate constantly. There are some older ones that are popping back up a bit, um, especially right now. It's like the launch coin eco is getting a decent bounce. Launch coin itself, I think, is around 200, almost to 200 mil after falling close to 100 mil on its dip. I think its all-time high is like 320, 340 or so mil. So that's seeing a nice balance, and Pasternak still, I feel like, is getting quite a lot of mind share. And I feel like there's a lot of sharp people still talking about the launch coin ecosystem, and they've had some underlying coins that are doing pretty well. I think Kled is one of the big ones that ripped to like over 30 mil or so. Yeah, sitting at like 23 mil right now, and then some other ones are starting to get a little bit of bid that ran up previously. So I think that's still one to keep an eye on. I think Pasternak has, um, who's the founder of Launchcoin, who has quite a lot of connections and sway in the Web 2 world, and I think he's going to continue to onboard some bigger names to launch coins over there. So I think that's certainly one to keep an eye on, is the launch coin ecosystem. I think especially with Pump Fund uh, leaking about their raise at like 4 billion FTV, and then people are seeing Launchcoin is 200 million FTV, and they naturally compare the two and seeing it's like 20x discount on Pump Fund, then I feel like that makes people a little bit emboldened to raise their targets with how well and how much volume Launchcoin stuff has been getting. So they naturally want some more to go to this underlying launch coin, and the fact that there's been teases of some type of utility for launch coin. Nothing concrete yet, but I've seen a lot of people believe that there will be some type of like rev share involved, and that would certainly be a huge boost to the price of launch coin, and then I think it would help in general the entire ecosystem. So I would keep an eye on there. I still like Goon Coin a lot, which is like the number one meme coin over there. Because I think it's more of a pretty normie friendly one, kind of like similar to Fartcoin. Because it's just dumb. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. At least on the belief side of things.
Quite not. I feel like I haven't seen it in forever. I haven't looked at it myself. I mean, in a while.
Yeah, you got to get back. I
I
think it's going
do.
to start heating up more and more. With the rest of the market heating up, Bitcoin at 108K right now.
Oh shit!
Hopefully,
Really
it keeps ripping.
insane.
Yeah.
Uni PCS with another post. Bunk guy. He said more bullish Fartcoin news. This is actually while we were talking. More bullish Fartcoin news. T1 Sex is slowly ramping up listings. Blah blah blah. That's because Coinbase is adding full support for Fartcoin and perpetual futures. So yeah, a lot of movement there on Coinbase. They're adding all kinds of features for it, so that's cool. Yeah, just adding that because we were talking about it recently.
Yeah.
Just nonstop
Um,
bullishness.
yes, sir. Yeah, I would think there'd be some other tier ones like Binance and Bybit and stuff that hop on the train too. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know what's took them all so long.
Yeah, I don't get
Anyway,
it
I mean,
either.
it's been like mean, Fartcoin does so much volume, like they've just been missing out on a ton of fees. So I don't really understand how they can be so behind on the listing process. Doesn't really make sense to me. But
With
is what it is.
Binance, I think Binance is just, you know how they, I think for them it's just like a restructuring that they did because they were just they were, while CZ was gone, you know, they were just listing anything at all for like for volume, right? They wanted to capture volume, which is great, but they started catching so much heat for what they were doing. It was kind of shady too. So I think they reeled it back in a little bit, and then they kind of reeled it in too much, where they didn't even consider Fartcoin. And maybe they did consider it and then decided it wasn't time to list it. But if you notice, it feels like they put a big X on any listings right now. They just haven't been listing like they were for a little while there. So I don't know if it's just a shift in their focus or if it's just being more careful with shitcoins than they were the last few months, but they definitely changed how they operate. At least when CZ came out, it looked like things just really shifted. And I think that's what happened there.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Hopefully they start going more risk on, as well as Coinbase, who said they would. Um. Yeah, we should talk about. We should talk about the pump fund stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you been? Did you see that?
What about the raise
In
and
regards
everything or something
in
else?
regards to the raise, yeah.
Yeah, that's just weird stuff to me. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot with how they're going about this, and they're asking for way too much. It's just a company that's already been super greedy and taken and max extracted so much. I don't see why they'd raise that much and that had that high of valuation. I mean, I think just my personal thoughts on it. I feel like they're rushing this out now because they're like competitors are closing in from all angles and they're trying to pull one last hurrah and max extract again before they lose the market share.
Yeah.
And that's just how it feels for me. I don't know about you.
No, yeah. I think that's for sure. I think it always was like they never needed to raise until they saw competitors come in and start to take in any type of decent market share, and then they could just pull that trigger of a token. Um, and that's what they're doing right now. Uh, I mean, it's not confirmed, so I'm not really gonna make any firm conclusions right now because that report and stuff hasn't been confirmed. They haven't officially announced anything on that side of things, so we'll see what actually happens. They could obviously change. They could have been what they did, and then they could have gotten feedback. They could actually change what they do. Who knows? Um, so it's hard to. I don't know. I don't want to like jump to any conclusions right now. I will say I think it is important though that it did come out because I think there's a bit of overhang on the shitcoin market, especially the meme coin, bigger like mid cap and stuff. Meme coins. I think a lot of people are just waiting before, especially like whales, waiting to really deploy any significant capital onto things like Fartcoin, for instance, that was why it dipped was the pump fund stuff under a dollar, just because there's so much um correlation there between Fartcoin holders and people who would want to buy the pump fund pre-sale, and just people expecting other people to dump their coins to participate in this huge pre-sale. So I think it's still like an overhang where I hope they just give us the details and then we get it out of the way. It's almost like uncertainty is like the worst thing for the market. Like I hope they just like do it, whatever they're gonna do, and then it can get out of the way and we can kind of move on from there. But it feels like there's lower volume and lower risk and like more profit taking, I would say. Um, and there will continue to be until we actually get news because people are scared of as soon as they announce it, everyone's just dumping their bags in preparation for it.
Yeah, it's gonna cause definitely a big vacuum. Um, I just That's one of those things where I hope it just freaking launches so we can get it over with and like go back to normal because it's just causing too much of turbulence, or it's gonna cause turbulence when it is actually announced. So yeah, just get it over with. Fuck. I did see a lot of people mention that they got DMs to get to buy into the round and stuff, and other speculation that people bought in really, really, really low. So it's going to be interesting to see how they manage all that. But I do think you're right. I think they might be going back to the drawing board because so many people are talking about it and hating on it. Maybe they see that it's not such a good thing that they're doing, or maybe they'll just wait a bit for the dust to settle before launching, which is and not change anything, because obviously if you start taking money in for a raise, even privately, you can't really go and start changing terms left and right if you're going to be respectable companies. So maybe they're just waiting for the dust to settle. But either way, yeah, just let it get it. Let's just get it over with, man. I don't want to live through this again. It's over. We're old. We're old and tired. Just get it through. Get it over with.
Yeah, right there with you for sure. Any anyone in the crowd? Shitcoin? Shitcoin takes you want to bring up? All right. People need their coffee this morning.
I'm
Get
drinking
it?
mine as we speak. Got a little late start to the day, so it feels good to get one in.
Oh yeah.
Moving on along, then. Here we go. I've been looking at NFTs, Jake, and a lot of them look red, but you did pick out a few that are looking decent. Obviously, Moonbirds had that crazy run after the sale announcement, and they just never stopped. I mean, they ran almost to an ETH, and now they're cooling off back down to 0.77, but that's a great run for them. Penguins hovering around the 9 ETH. They took a little bit of a hit, as did Bored Apes, but I think they'll be fine, especially if ETH keeps going. The big winners though of the week were Bad Buns, which launched a couple weeks ago and then dipped all the way to point 0.2. People kind of like shrugged them off, but good ecosystems always find a way to rise back up, and they're back up to 0.55 now. Bad Buns being the Mega ETH, one of the Mega ETH projects. I think that one's going to do very well for the future, especially if Mega ETH does as well as other chains we've seen. But again, it could go either way. I mean, Mega ETH could launch and people will be like, whatever, just another chain, and then it'll happen like any other like Ape chain or any other chain that came out that kind of started slowly bleeding. That one could go either way, but I still think that it had a good following and people that bought into that eco really enjoy it. So Buns, I think, will do well, and our favorite eco, or if our favorite product, I mean ethos, right? Those did well. They bounced. I'm glad you messaged me about them because they moved back up to 3.1. Sure, there's not a lot of them, so it's easy to get it moving, but you'd expect people to take profit on something like this, right? Where, oh, it's cool, I just got 3 ETH for free, let me dump it. But the fact that people are holding it makes me think that they really enjoy the ecosystem. They enjoy what Ethos is doing. They love the PFPs. I absolutely love the PFPs. I wish I had one. And yeah, I mean they have respect for SERP, so they really haven't dumped their bags. I mean, it's nice to see. What are your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, first on the buns. It seems like they're like the number one NFT for sure for Mega ETH right now. I've seen a lot of um like influencers with like actually sharp influencers that are changing their PFPs to them. I think Bread, yeah, like Bread guy who works for Mega ETH, and is like probably the biggest influencer for Mega ETH right now, has a Bad Buns PFP, and some other ones do too. Um, there is like the official Mega ETH like fluff, what I feel like called fluff something. I can't remember what they're called. But they're also like a bunny, but it's soul bound, so they're not really tradable. So I think this is like probably going to be like the big collection. It seems like for Mega ETH, and I think it's basically like a way to invest in Mega ETH before you actually can whatever uh, before their token, if they do have a token, which I would assume they would, but um, so kind of a leverage bet on Mega ETH stuff, which I think is a good bet. I actually have not bought Bad Bonds, but I do want to. It'd probably be like the number one NFT I want to buy right now. I would say just
Same.
because um, it's still like a decent price. I think it's. I actually could not find the plat. Okay, because I'm not sure what. Because they're not an OpenSea, I don't think. So I was trying to figure out how to fucking find them real quick. But But anyway, I just am bullish on Mega ETH in general. I think it's like there's a lot of chains launching, yes. But to me, like they all feel pretty similar. Like I don't know, Monad, Abstract, all that. Like there's not really a big difference in like what they're like the actual reason that people they're launching these chains from what I've seen. Or at least like not one that you can really market. Whereas Mega ETH actually does have that, where it's by far the fastest. It's like that's kind of their thing is like real time transactions, like not a second, not 2 seconds, not whatever. It's like literally real time. Like they have a Frogger game where you can. It's like very 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 quick. Which I think can enable. Which sounds like not like that big of a difference, milliseconds between seconds or whatever, but I think it can. Um, it really can enable some breakout apps for crypto, being that kind of real time. I think I'm very interested to see how they do that. But so yeah, I think just in general, and they have a lot of really good backing. I like what they're doing to grow their community, where they had this PFP or this fluff, whatever their soulbound collection is, sale where they rewarded like top wallets, even though I didn't qualify some reason. Um, in in the ecosystem on like ETH and stuff. So yeah, just in general, I would just say I'm pretty bullish on Mega ETH, and this is a really good way, in my opinion, of like taking a leverage bet on them before you actually can invest in their token or whatever.
A little salty about being skipped over for that. Just let me give you my money, my God. But the bad buns, I was strongly considering them on the dip, and I got trigger shy. Just been trigger shy lately, so I just skipped on them. But I was looking at them, and I'm like, man, 0.25. Like this list is gonna bounce for sure. And old me, fucking last cycle Jinzo would have bought a whole bag of these things. But yeah, whatever. I just skipped on them, but I'm glad to see I was right at least. Paper trading and all that. So yeah, just obviously more trigger shy than it used to be, and that's kind of a problem. I got to change that. But yeah, nice to see. I'm happy. I know a lot of people in here did buy them, so that's cool to see. The other one that did really well is Good Vibes Club. I mean, again, we have a lot of holders in here. We have people that keep talking about them. They dipped they didn't even dip that much, but let's say they got down to like point 0.4, and just last week they were back to 1 ETH. So I think that's a good one, and they have a really strong community. So that's one thing that lately you see less of is strong communities being formed around an NFT, which is just an NFT project, and Good Vibes Club found a way to do that. So hats off to them, really. I was a big I was questioning it at first when it launched. I'm like, man, 3D art looks a lot like something already that we're not too excited about in doodles and whatever. I don't really find they're too nice. I was telling myself, like, I found every reason on earth to not like them, and then they ended up just proving me wrong on every level, and that's nice to see too. Like, when I'm proven wrong this much, I'm happy about it because I know people are winning. So hey, good for you. Nice to see. You just gotta respect and love the fact that a new NFT project is doing this well when it's nothing else. Basically, it's not attached to a chain. It's not really attached to a project. It really is just vibes. So I mean, that's amazing. I hope more projects could come out and be like this. It really gives the 2021 feel to me. Just had to give them their special
Yep.
shout out because they deserve it.
Yeah, good shot. I still can't really get over the 3D art. I've just never been able to. I've like never been a fan of any of those
Same. Yeah.
projects. Um, so I certainly faded, but I mean, GG's to everyone who got in.
Yeah, it was a good play for sure. I mean, it's the most comfortable hold for some of these guys that bought in. So, nice to see. Hopefully, they get into the 2, 3, 4, 5 ETH range, disbelief mode for a lot of people, and where a lot of people start making good money when ETH is moving at the same time. It's perfect, really. Like, I'm really impressed. I'm looking through a lot of these floors, like a lot of them, sure, from 2021. They're not really doing too much. They've just been staying steady, but that's a win in itself. Like, if ETH is moving and your floors are staying pretty steady, maybe eventually those pops come too for the NFTs we're holding. So it's not you know what I mean? I'm not too mad about it yet. Like, let's see. Like, if we end up passing 2 years and Bored Apes just still at 13 ETH and I didn't get my exit, then maybe I'll be a little bit salty. But right now, I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's just floors are just steady across the board, and I feel like that's just it's gonna lead to higher floors soon. Just a waiting game at this point.
Yeah. On a similar note, I'd say I'd recommend doing the OpenSea daily rewards. They have
Oh,
those
yeah.
these called voyages now. That are super easy to do. I think it's at least daily. Yeah, I think there's new voyages every. I think it resets at noon Eastern
That's a good
every day.
reminder. Thank you for that because I saw posts about it and I keep forgetting to do it. So thank you for that. That's
Oh, it is
awesome.
an OpenSea. Thank you, Lowlight. Fluffles. Oh yeah, see, I was close. I was gonna call them Fluffies, but it didn't sound right.
That's a good name for them.
But I was like, aren't those like the people who dress up as animals or something like that?
The fluffies.
Um, oh wait, no, those are furries.
Furries, fluffies, they're all the same. They're just different races of fluffers.
um, yeah, thank you. I'm glad that buttons are open. See, that's easier. Okay. But yeah, the OpenSea dot io/rewards is where you go for the voyages, and it's just like simple stuff. Like right now, it's like buy any gaming NFT from a verified collection of at least $5, and you can just like buy one and try and flip it real quick if you wanted to, or just like sell it and like eat like a 1% fee or like 2% fee, whatever it would be. Um, eat like 10 cents or whatever to do the mission, which to me probably I have no clue if it's gonna be worth it or not. But um, it seems like it could be decently worth it. Especially I would say especially if you have like a bunch of prior experience and stuff on your account, like prior a bunch of trading activity from like 2021 days. I think there's like the upside of maybe there's some type of multiplier if we're doing these on previous stuff. Probably not, but it's at least like I would say small upside of that. So I'm at least doing them on my main account just to get them in, and who knows if maybe it gives me a little bit of boost. That's worth it.
Yeah. Just like with anything, I guess, just make sure you're not spending too much to try to get these is really the trick. You don't want to be spending hundreds of dollars for something that might not be worth it. Just make it, like you said, just have a bit of activity, and I think we'll be fine. That's why I keep like,
Yeah, I mean they're all like
yeah,
$5, $10, and then
exactly.
you can just resell it right away. Sometimes for even a slight profit, or I don't know, 1% or 2% more to eat the fee, and then you come out break even. It's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it. That's the way to do it, I think.
so
But yeah,
yeah,
I haven't even opened this yet, so that's a good reminder, man. I keep wanting to do it. Someone had posted like how easy it is to do and how fast, and just just click through and like you just said, just spend very little amounts and resell or whatever. But yeah, um, just get some activity on there for sure.
yeah, they have it. They have like cross chain enabled too for like swaps and stuff, so you can buy like tokens on other chains if you don't have to like bridge over, which is nice. And I don't think it's like a crazy fee for using that. Um, so like if like I think I bought like a coin on like AVAX with like base ETH or something uh, the other day because it was part of the mission, and it was super easy. It didn't really I didn't really have to eat much of a fee.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it even like brings a bit of volume to some of these chains, like Ape Chain. Like today's an Ape Chain um voyage, so we'll see. I'm sure it's not going to be like monster volume, but it they're spreading the love. Farming, a different type of farming, why not? So much farming.
But yeah, I don't have much else. I've seen. Did you want to mention? I think you said there's like an ordinals mint.
Yeah, good call. I was gonna pull that up earlier and I completely forgot. But basically, the Pizza Ninja's second mint is coming up for anyone that's holding a ninja. There's a way to interact with. Let me pull it up. Trevor talked about it today. I saw it in passing. I'll just post about it. I don't know if this is gonna cook. I know they're pretty expensive, and Like the floor of them are 0.03 for the first ones, and I know that they were saying this is going to cost 0.01, so it's kind of expensive for a secondary mint, I find. But I'll just link it so you guys can read through if you are holders of Pizza Ninjas and feel like you want to get involved. I just think Ordinals right now took a big hit, and I'm probably not even going to do it, but it's putting it out there so you can see it. I'm not going to read through everything, but the phases basically start 10 a.m. on Wednesday. OG Minters plus Ninja holders. Phase 2 is the week after on Monday, and then after that, phase 3 for remaining holders on Wednesday. So just read through and see if it's worth it for you. But like I said, I think it's a little bit expensive.
All right, sweet. Great shout. Anyone have anything on NFT stuff? Anything we missed?
Just I'll mention the abstract stuff. A lot of the ecosystem took a bit of a hit. Prices came down across the board, really, like by 15 or 20%. I don't know if that's just because people have been receiving less XP. Like I know my XP dropped a lot from one week to the next, or if people are just less involved because they're less indoors right now, like we were saying earlier. But it feels like that eco took a little bit of a hit in attention and in prices for their NFTs, their crypto, whatever it might be. So you know how it is. Hype goes in cycles, and it feels like it shifted a little bit now from abstract. But still, I mean, if anything, this just gives you a better entry for people that are looking to get their XP up and farm. There's still a few months left of this farm, so obviously we're going to go through ups and downs. But I just wanted to mention it that it looks like it's kind of on a downtrend for now. Still a good farm for me though. I mean, obviously a lot of us are involved, and are gonna stay involved until the end. Um, and yeah, just going through the motions. But yeah, still bullish on abstract as a whole. It's just cyclical, right? Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but in general, I think it's here to stay. So I'm still very excited about abstract.
Yeah. I never really got into it. Just felt like a lot of grind for me. But hopefully it works out well for everyone. I know there's been a lot of really sharp people in the abstract thread here in VHQ getting into it.
You know
So
how it is,
hopefully,
man. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm good.
I was gonna say, you know how it is. There's just so much going on. We all choose our spots, and that's what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? So it's all good. There's so much to do. Like, there's so many different lanes to explore. You don't have to do them all. It's a good thing too, because then you have your things to talk about. I have mine, and then we make a good show.
Exactly. Um, yeah, man. I don't have anything else really on my docket here. Did you have anything or anyone else have
Yeah,
anything you
I'm
want?
just gonna mention field reports here. There wasn't much, but Ranch has a really good one on agentic AI frameworks for crypto trading. He put together some new stuff, so I would definitely read through that one. Um, you know, Ranch is always very involved in the AI streets, and he put together a nice little field report here. So we'll give it some love. Definitely worth the read. Then there's Gladiators um, testnet farming. He mentioned, I think he posted this a couple weeks ago, but he added to it uh, this week. So if you haven't seen, go take a look. That's about it on the field reports side. Not much going on right now. You know how it is. There's like we talked about it. Like the markets are in good shape, but we're kind of like on a slower pace right now. So whatever. Good time to start what you were putting off. Actually, no, before the hype starts. That's it for me, Jake. I got nothing else. Anybody else from the crowd? Something we forgot? Something that you want to talk about? Maybe something that's up and coming that we don't know about. Now's the time. Nope. Looks like that's about it. Enjoy sports, everybody. It's gonna be a good week. Finals are upon us. Go Edmonton, and I think OKC is gonna take it too. Let's see.
Yes, sir. joyful June, starting today, officially.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks everybody.
Wrap it up
Take
here.
care. Yep.
Yeah, there y'all.